Hey everyone, this is Shika from the Samosa Budget. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. In my channel, we discuss all things home budget related. In today's video, we are going to be looking at our May week 2 budget check-in. Please remember to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get right into the video. As you can see, here is monthly expense tracker, my work in progress. I'm trialing it out for this month, as normally I do a weekly expense tracker, and I'll just quickly show you, as if you've stumbled on my channel before, you've probably seen this already. But this is what my weekly expense tracker would look like. It would just be for 1 week, and here we're tracking all our variable expenses, and then we total them up. The reason why I'm leaning more towards the monthly version here is because I don't have to worry about printing 4 or 5 of these a week and reducing the paper waste, really, as most of this was quite blank. So I've been trying this, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end of the month. But essentially what we're going to do is fill this in with some coloured labels I printed off at home. These are all our variable categories, and I added in one new one, which is for unbudgeted. So unbudgeted is one that doesn't have a colour because I didn't think about doing that. So I've just added that in. Anything that is in this white label is an unbudgeted expense. So after we fill this in with adding some stickers in, all these labels, we will then add up how much we spent this week. We only have 5 transactions. Today is the 16th, and we only had 5 transactions that happened since last week. And then there was this Amazon transaction which I forgot to include. So I've left that little checkbox there as unchecked to remind me to include it in this week's. And here is my key, and it's literally just a piece of cardboard that came with the stickers that I just stuck these on. The first transaction is actually on the 10th, which is the Sunday. So we had 2 transactions. We had an Amazon transaction, which was, I believe, pens. And then we picked up some more cigarettes. And then the next one happened on the 12th, which was another Amazon transaction, and also the unbudgeted transaction for PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Online, well, the thing that lets you play online. And this is because my husband was gifted a PlayStation and he already has one, so that means that I can have one and we don't have to share, which is such a first world problem. But I quite enjoy playing Call of Duty, so there's been some late nights playing Call of Duty for me. And then the last one was for the 15th, which was yesterday. I've been having such a hankering for like jam donuts. So we stopped off at a petrol station which had an M&S. For those of you not in the UK, Marks and Spencer's is like, I want to say, a high-end supermarket. And I didn't see any donuts there, but I stocked up on like eclairs and brownie bites and just basically all things junk because I really wanted something sweet. As you can see, there have not been any real food expenses besides this one since last week, where we spent £90. We have a Sainsbury's transaction that is going to happen on Monday. We've already put the order through, and the delivery is on the 18th, and it includes lots of things like beer, which is like £18, I think. Apart from that, we haven't gone too crazy with the groceries, and I'm hoping that they will deliver 5 kilos of rice because we are running low, because last time they couldn't substitute it, so I didn't get it in the delivery. And I'm hoping that we will be keeping our food costs somewhat low. So now what we're gonna do is add up all of these unchecked transactions and then we'll check them off together. Let's do all of the blue ones because there's more blue ones. So that is a total of 39 for these blue expenses, and blue expenses are fun categories, so it's usually allowance. This was week 1 and we'll just fill in week 2 here. So fun was 39, and then I will check off these. And then we have cigarettes for 46, which is in this miscellaneous. And then I need to add in an unbudgeted category. Okay, so £10 on food. I might, for this week, get rid of car and then just put unbudgeted, and that was 50. I'm wearing all of my nibs down. So we spent £10 on food, 39 on fun, 46 on cigarettes, and then £50 for the unbudgeted. I'm just gonna zero everything else out as we didn't make any purchases. And guys, you have to be so proud of me. We haven't had any eating out transactions this week. Oh, actually, I think we did. Okay, scooch that out. Pretty sure we did now that I think about it. But I have not been given a receipt, so in my mind it does not count. I'm joking, I need to find out how much that was. So we've put in all our spent, and then now we've got our remaining. Get the remaining, what we will do is look at last week's amount. And I know that I have definitely reduced some categories to put into our Budget Mom Savings Challenge. So I'm pretty sure I remember them off the top of my head. So we had 193 left for food, and that includes alcohol. And I remember taking 21.50 from that to go into our savings. That leaves us with 171.50. And then there's £10 here. So that is 161.50. And then this per week is quite important. So I counted it by the number of Fridays. So let's just check, so we've got 2 Fridays left. That's £80.75. And then fun is 30. We spent 39, we had 93. And I'm pretty sure I took some money. So I'm just gonna double check on my computer. I don't have my glasses. So we have 93 left. Spent 39. So this is saying we've got 54 left. And I am actually seeing 1952. So did we take some money? Okay, so okay. So we have one more transaction that Hubby has added in. Okay, so that will be checked next week. So there's one more transaction I'm gonna add in because I can see that he's put it in and he must have done it today. So he bought a game from the PlayStation store with his allowance money, and that was on the 5th. Oh, geez Louise. That was on the 5th and it was £12.99. So that was on the 5th, which was here. So I'm just gonna put that in as this week because I might not remember to look that far back for next week. So I'm gonna leave that as, I think this is just destined to happen. Every week I'm gonna forget a transaction. I'm gonna leave that as 39 and I'll add in the transaction that I missed off in the next check-in. We have 32.51 remaining, so it's about 16.25 left per week. Fuel, we still have £50 because we didn't spend any, so I'm just gonna put 50. We don't really do that per week. Eating out, I'm gonna leave that as 58 because I don't know what we had the other day, so that's 29. I'm pretty sure we did have some takeout. Household, we haven't had any expenses, so that's still 20. Home, I zeroed that out because I added that to our savings pot. And then we had 101 left for cigarettes and we spent 46, so that's 55. And that's 27.50 left for the rest of the month. Medical, we've got 60 left. And as mentioned before, we're just keeping that money on hand until the appointments are running. Kitty, we still have his full 120 left, and that's, I guess, 60 per week. So obviously for this, we should write it in red. 1 second. So basically, if you're wondering how we will cover this 50, it will be from another category that's got money left, so we can net those figures out. Because obviously when you spend the money, you're like, yeah, I have the money, but then afterwards you're like, oh. And we hopefully won't have any more unbudgeted. And let's just double check I've checked everything off. So I'm just gonna check off the cigarettes, the crazy sugar haul. I'm not gonna check that one off, and then we'll check off this unbudgeted. I wish there was a bit more space, but I've ordered some Avery labels, which I think are a little bit wider. So let's see, but I'm gonna use up obviously the ones that I have now. I mentioned in a previous budget video, I'll link a budget playlist up here, that NFL London 2020 has been cancelled because all of the NFL games are going to be played domestically. We set up a sinking fund for hubby to save this massive amount of money. Now that that's been cancelled, we need to figure out what we want to do with that, and we'll be adding most of it to our emergency fund, and then we'll be starting our savings again from scratch. But I will explain more about that at the monthly review for May. If you notice, there are a lot of blue transactions, and basically all of these but one is an Amazon transaction. So I thought it would be interesting to go back and check how many Amazon transactions we've had per month for 2020 so far. I'm not sure about you guys, but for me, I will literally sit there in bed and look at stuff, obsess over it, add it to my basket and then check out, and then not really realise that I've just spent like £20. So these are the number of transactions. So you'll see in January and February we had 7 transactions, in March we had 9, and in April it jumped up to 12. And that was mainly because we'd ordered loads of camera equipment, I ordered my passion planner, and so far for May we are at a total of 6 transactions. So I would say our average is probably around 6 or 7 based on these figures. But I'm going to carry on filling this in just because it's something to be mindful of, and even though I use everything I buy, I just don't want that to get out of hand, because that's so easy to get out of hand. For our week 2 check-in, I would say for the most part we're doing okay. The transaction that will be going on Monday the 18th is £60, I believe. So I think we'll be fine in terms of food costs. Fun is pretty much out, I would say. And then we've got this eating out money, and I'm pretty sure there is a transaction that I haven't put in for eating out. Fuel money, we are going back and forth to my parents every week. We will probably need that money at some point in the next week or so. Oh, there's a big chunk of money left in Kitty because we bought his food at the end of April, but we'll do an inventory and see where we are, because I imagine we'll need some more food in the next week just to make sure we're stocked up, because he does have a raw diet, so we have to buy all of his food fresh, and obviously we only have so much freezer capacity. So I would say for the most part we are fine. There's nothing too crazy scary happening, which is good in these times of uncertainty. Well, for me definitely, I'd just grasp control of what is in my hands to control. And this is something we can try and control, especially if my salary is reduced any further, and hopefully it won't be. For those of you that don't know, I am on furlough until the end of June, and fingers crossed I'll be back to working full-time on my full salary, hopefully very soon. But it is actually a really scary time for me right now, and doing these numbers now is sort of like a double-edged sword, because as much as it's really good that we can control these numbers and prepare our budget and ourselves for being financially hit further, at the same time I just want to know that my job is there when I go back and everything is going to be fine. So that is the sort of, I guess, anxiety that I'm sort of dealing with right now. So this is our week 2 check-in filled in, and now what we're going to do is just flip over to my May budget and fill in any expenses that actually came out of our account. So £60 for our minimum payment for this credit card came out. We're still waiting on these 2 transactions to leave. And then pet insurance has come out for £23.58. Windows, and they actually did come, so we paid them £13. Gym is £0 this month, and so is travel card. I'm just waiting for my phone bill to leave. We've got one more transaction for our coffee subscription, and then that will be the full month. So I need to add in a few rows for Canva and HP Instant Ink. I don't want to add in more rows because this is just enough space for me to write, like without having to really squish the numbers. I might change this to just be a total subscriptions. My Canva subscription is gone, Netflix has gone, Spotify is gone, my Kindle subscription has gone, and then iTunes subscription has gone. Go down here, we've got some house bills that came out. We have the council tax, which is basically like our rubbish bins and I don't know, like local borough maintenance, and that was more than budgeted. That was £150, and I'm not worried about variances here. That will be at the end of the month. And then our gas and electric has not come out yet. I've got £140 here, and hopefully there should be some left over from here, but I don't know how much that will be. We're still waiting for the water bill to go out, so that's fine. Car payment, only some of it has gone out. For those that don't know, this is my budget planner setup, and I'll link up my May budget with me video here where I fill out these inserts and then I also stuff my digital envelopes if you want to see where these numbers are from, and hopefully you can sort of follow along, because I'm sort of hard to follow along with numbers sometimes. I confuse myself and my husband all the time. This is our weekly check-in for week 2, and everything seems okay. I am having fun on my new PlayStation playing Call of Duty, and if you want to check out any of my other videos, I recently did a video with me actually talking face to face about starting a YouTube channel and my thoughts and my experience on it. I go into some detail about the mistakes I've made and stuff, and I hope it's helpful to people who are thinking about doing it and just haven't done it yet, and just give you a few more tips on what you'll need to start. So I will link that up here, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.